Story number 1. I met a very sad, older lady today at the bar. I don't have friends, mostly my doing. I lost socializing during the COVID years, and today I went to a bar solo. This woman, around 50, started talking to me. She was alone, very kind, and kind of like my mother. I just went ahead and started conversing with her. I'm not social, but I do have that snooping gene in me. If someone wants to talk, I will listen. She started talking about how her husband cheated on her, how he didn't even make enough money to be worthy of cheating, and how she waited for her kids to go to college before divorcing him. She said she didn't get anything in the divorce because her husband made less money than her. She gave me advice to never marry anyone who makes more than me because no man can let that ego part go. How a man values his life through how much he can provide. She then talked about how she has a weird relationship with the city, how it doesn't make sense to be old here, how she moved up the ladder to a partner. Number 40-year-old should be living here. How exhausting it is, and how despite making decent money, you always have to work harder and harder. She also started talking about how suburbs are boring and how the city is too much. She told me her major regret was that she never got the opportunity to find what she liked, how she feels sad about getting older and the loneliness that comes with it. She then went on to yap about how it sucks being a woman. No one wants to be with her. How men only want women for sex. How she is trying to find God but can't get herself to believe in any of it. At one point I tried to buy the next round, IPAs, and she flat out said she just wants to talk and I should save money. Then she bought us Moscow mules. I never say no to free liquor, but IT became sad as she talked about how she drinks wine to sleep. How her kids don't talk to her as much as they used to. How no one wants her anymore on this planet. If she died, no one would care. I tried to change the conversation to restaurants, and she then told me about how travel has become useless. How all cities have the same corporate stores. She talked about how Zara and H&M are everywhere in all city centers across the world. I asked her what I should do at my current stage of life, and she advised me to take more chances, make mistakes, and find something I love before getting married. We were talking about relationships and asked me if I want love in life. I couldn't reply anything to her. At this moment, we just became quiet. She left before me. There was nothing romantic about it, just a conversation. Now I am on the train trying to make sense of it all. Cabs are so expensive. I don't know if I have ever met a stranger this sad and lonely. Where did we go wrong? If everyone is lonely. Let's move on to the second story. Story number 2. I successfully evaded parole for years, was discharged from it, and now I live an amazing life years later. I, 27 was arrested and charged with nonviolent felonies in Illinois when I was a teenager. After evading bail for years, I was arrested in a different state and extradited back to Illinois to face the charges previously. For deeper context, I was an avid drug abuser who made bad decisions with the wrong people originally. I was sentenced to Illinois Department of Corrections for a period of 4 years, but was given a boot camp alternative. The agreement was to do the boot camp program for 120 days and I would be released. I completed the program and was released on conditions of parole for 2 years and 60 days of house arrest. I was residing with my now deceased grandmother during that period of time. After I was released off house arrest, I found myself returning to the drug environment that plagued my neighborhood. I was addicted again. My oldest sister is not mentally stable and an extreme narcissist that grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. She would try to sabotage my parole conditions and eventually made claims against my PO. I was being forced to come in person and drug test in the parole office. However, because I knew I would get violated, I ended up fleeing the state again. I would still be able to check in via telephone for a short period, and eventually they put me as a hold. Later that year, my status changed to absconder from parole, which means I had a warrant once again. My anxiety was high, but I had stopped caring and carried on with my life. When the new year started, that is the year that COVID came into the US. Everything shut down. I did not check my parole status for quite some time until later that same COVID year. I'm not sure if it was a clerical error or a change in parole officers, but I had been put back into status as current. Take note, I was still not checking in every month at this time. Eventually, my 2-year parole period came to an end, and I was not expecting what I woke up to on the day of discharge. That said, I was discharged from IDOC. My heart sank and a wash of happiness came over me that day. The only person I have ever told this story to was my now wife and my deceased brother. Fast forward 4 years later, and I currently have a great job. I am now sober. I married the love of my life 2 years ago, and I was able to seal the charges off of my record in Illinois. We live in a higher scale neighborhood where it's peaceful and nice. I went back to school and completed business degrees in community college, and I now attend a university to study finance. Let's move on to the third story. Story number 3. My best friend 28F kissed me 28M, and now my GF 26F needs time to think. What do? I 28M. Last night, while on the way home from a movie with my GF, Sarah, 26F, my female best friend Jessica, 28F, called and told us that her car had broken down and if we could pick her up. I told her yes and for her to send me her location. My GF asked me to drop her off at home because she had to be up for work early. Jessica was 23 minutes away, and when I picked her up, she was crying as soon as she got into the car. As I drove her home, she just started venting about how hard life has been, and I just listened, letting her get it all out. She lived 19 minutes away from where her car broke down. As we pulled into the driveway, she thanked me for always being there and then hugged me. We hugged and said goodbye all the time, but this time, Jessica kissed me as we separated. It completely caught me off guard, and I just looked at her, confused. She said, "I'm sorry, my emotions got the best of me." All I could think to ask was, "Why did you do that?" She replied, "I'm sorry," as she got out of the car and walked into the house. As I drove home, I couldn't stop thinking, why did my best friend of 9 years just kiss me? We've always had a platonic relationship. Why did she kiss me? The next morning, I told Sarah what happened, and she got really upset. She asked me questions like, "Have you two done this before? Why would she kiss you randomly?" Jessica and Sarah had formed their own friendship, and over the past 3 years, they had become close. Sarah tried calling Jessica 3 times, but it went to voicemail each time, which only made her more upset. While crying, Sarah told me she trusted me and couldn't believe this came out of nowhere. I kept reassuring her that I loved her and that I had no idea why Jessica kissed me. In the end, Sarah packed a small bag and said she needed time to think. She would be staying with her sister. I don't know what to do. I can't reach Jessica on the phone, and Sarah doesn't want to talk to me right now. I've never done anything with Jessica. She knows I love Sarah and that I'm the happiest I've been in a long time. I can't wrap my head around what happened. Recently, I received a lengthy message from Sarah expressing how deeply hurt she is and her confusion about what to believe. She mentioned that she trusted me and couldn't fathom why either of us would hurt her like this. A week ago, I was discussing my plans to propose to Sarah with a friend, and now I'm sitting alone in our apartment, feeling upset and unsure of my next steps. I think I've lost a longtime friend and my girlfriend, whom I really love. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel. There are many great stories for you on my channel. Thank you for watching.